This is an opinion we got to respect. Not an opinion, but this is a verdict we have to respect. Let me just see other people who are gonna probably echo the same thing. It looks like that's what it is. Let me see. Let me see. We're gonna probably see it very shortly. TMZ should TMZ should have it almost immediately. Yep. Here we go. Found guilty of shooting Meg the Stallion and facing likely deportation. Tory Lanez is guilty of shooting Meg the Stallion in the foot. In 2020, a jury has decided. The verdict came in Friday, just before the holidays, where a group of LA jurors found the Canadian rapper guilty of all three charges against him: felony, negligent discharge of a firearm, assault with a semi automatic weapon, and carrying a loaded and unregistered firearm. After the verdict was read, several of his family members shouted, calling the jurors evil. Tory was filmed entering the court before the verdict was read, telling the cameras his spirits were high. Tory now faces more than 22 years in prison, which will be determined during a sentencing at a later date. Sources connected to the case tells us Tory lawyers were in touch with immigration officials before the guilty verdict, and we're told that they're being informed that there's a strong likelihood he will be forced to leave the country. This marks the conclusion of a wild 2 weeks in court, which saw a handful of witnesses take the stand to recount what they have saw or what they say happened on that fateful night. Meg herself obviously testified, squarely pointing the finger at Tory as a sole shooter. Oh, as a shooter. She says she saw Tory with a gun, explaining she remembers him firing at her from a Cadillac Escalade, and claims he shouted, "Dance, bitch, dance." Meg the Stallion also testified Tory offered her $1 million to keep quiet. By the way, they didn't bring him up on bribery charges, but that was a testimony, or that was the allegation. Meg was called out by the defense for several. Oh, sorry, my bad. For several items. For several items. Here we go. For several items, including the fact that she initially wasn't forthright about having an intimate relationship with Tory, and that she initially lied to police about how her feet had gotten injured. The defense also tried to target Meg's ex best friend Kelsey as a shooter, and the reason that she might have shot her was because of alleged creeping behind her back with guys like Ben Simmons and the baby and Tory himself, a revelation that apparently sparked a major argument among all three in the car. What happened in the car was a major source of contention during the trial. While Meg had one version of the events, Kelsey seemed to have a different story, albeit with a very spotty memory on the stand that created a stop and go recounting under oath. What she did definitively testify on the stand. She wasn't the one that shot Meg, but she wasn't willing to go as far to say as Tory did. But remember, prosecutors were eventually able to get the green light to play a prior interview she'd given in September, and in that recording, she said that Tory shot Meg. That might have been the icing on the cake right there. It's probably that interview, I'm going to be honest. Other witnesses took the stand, but none of them were as consequential as Meg and Kelsey, including the guy who supposedly saw the two women fighting from his balcony. Ultimately, he was not definitive about who he saw fire the gun. Physical evidence in the case wasn't that strong. There was gun residue found on both Kelsey and Tory, and inconclusive DNA on the gun itself. Tory never took the stand, and neither did the driver that night. Jaquan Smith, aside from the cops and a witness to Kylie Jenner's party, that's EJ, that preceded all this, it really boiled down to Kelsey and Meg. In the end, the jury obviously sided with the prosecutor. As for the court of public opinion, the jury is still very much out. People certainly took sides on social media and on traditional media too. But now, it's unclear if their allegiances will change. A long and twisted journey finally fucking over. People, I keep telling you, I told you my intent. My intent is to accept the verdict that was given. Gotta accept it. You get what I mean? Did I think there was going to be a different? You ask me why this verdict is here. Clearly, the jury took into account what Meg said and her being the victim. And even though you or me might say, well, she lied before. Sorry. Oh, she lied before about this, that, and third. The jury found her credible enough to say, we're going to side with her. Kelsey's, her testimony was all over the place. If they use her testimony, they probably didn't use what she said in court. They used what she said in September to the prosecutors. Hold on. I believe Tory is going to be remanded immediately. He was out on bail, and he was let off house arrest for the sake of the case that he could have a good chance to like sit with his attorneys and do what he got to do to get his defense in. You know what I mean? To prepare for this case. He was always on some type of bond, and I believe he should be remanded immediately. And after him being remanded, they're going to go towards sentencing. Unfortunately, he's going to spend, I believe, the unless something else happens. I don't know if his lawyer could fucking convince the judge to, hey, listen, just put him on house arrest till sentencing. But I could imagine they would be like, hey, let's remand him now, right? Posting to Instagram. I'm sorry, guys. Chat. It's over. It's over. It's over. We're probably going to be discussing this, and we're all going to have our opinions for a long time to come. I'm pretty sure there is going to be second guesses on Tory's side for a lot of things. I know they say they didn't use what Sean Kelly said, but definitely what Sean Kelly said. Other than that, just my opinion, we thought this was going to be about who's lying, who's not. The jury has basically let us know. Despite what we thought about her character, her quote unquote maybe lying or not having the full information or the truth previously or in interviews or when she went on live or she said, oh, I got shot, my back was turned. They believed Meg the Stallion. And even though Kelsey was a nightmare of a co-star witness, the most important witness was the victim. And even if the story didn't make sense to y'all, because you know what their story was, Meg dissed Tory's music and Tory just shot her. Clearly the jury agreed with it. By the way, I'm pretty sure Tory's gonna like try to file some type of appeal and probably even use the fact that, hey, listen, well, the decision was given on, up against time when there was a holiday, people were just trying to get out of there. Don't know if the jury had enough time to deliberate. I'm pretty sure the judge probably asked them are y'all sure? We can just go to Tuesday. You guys sure you're sure you've came to a consensus? Remember what I told y'all? I felt like the decision was going to be either 40% Tory clean sweep, so him 3-0, or 40% him 0-3. So it is what it is.